What is your full name?
Samuel Ellison Watson,
What year were you born?
1929,
Mm.
at the start of the Depression.
Wow, amazing. Where did you live throughout your childhood life?
Well, actually, I lived in South Carolina, but not in one place.
Mm.
In the city, I grew up in a town where we had the conveniences of electricity and running water.
Mm.
Then, when I was in the fifth grade, I moved, had to go live with my grandfather. Went to the country where we had none of the above.
No electricity?
No electricity, no running water, none of that stuff.
It's crazy. And did you live there for most of your until you
And
were 18?
no, no,
No.
no. I just lived there until I was in the, oh, I guess about the sixth grade. Then I went to live with an uncle
Okay.
on another farm,
Hmm.
and it still was rural.
Mm.
And I got through I got through the eighth grade. I went to a boarding school in the eighth grade, and the school burned down while we were there.
Oh.
It was just before lunch. The girl came and she knocked on the classroom door and stuck her head in there, and she said, "Miss Stevenson, the building's on fire. There's no fire department.
Really?
Nope. In the rural, all you do is let it burn."
Mm. It's too bad. Wow.
And
How was your childhood in general? Like, how was life growing up? Was it hard, easy, interesting?
it was both
Mm.
easy, hard, and interesting.
Like, can you give me some details?
Well,
I guess that's a lot to
at
ask.
the time, no. See, on a farm, you got to work. There's no, there's no playtime.
Really?
And see, as a kid, there, you can't really do anything for yourself
Mm-hmm.
because you have to get your water from a well or a pump. The light is a kerosene lantern,
Mm-hmm. All right.
and anything, if you really want anything done, an adult has to do it, most of it.
But did you do a lot of like minor chores?
Oh yeah, we did that. You had to do all of that stuff. We did first farm. Well, both of them were cotton farms,
Mm-hmm.
which they don't even have anymore.
Cotton, yeah. Pretty
No,
rare these days.
no. Now they got machines that do all the work that people used to do. See, like they got backhoes, they got ditch diggers and stuff. We didn't have anything like that. We did they to put in a culvert across the road in those days. You had men with pick and shovels. No, no mechanical advice at all.
Mm. All right. So, how was your relationship with your parents?
Yeah. Well, you had the same relationship with all adults.
Mm. With all the what?
All adults. See, it wasn't, and you hear the thing about it takes a village to raise a child. Well,
Yes.
in those days, if you lived in the village, everybody, every adult was your parent.
Hmm.
You couldn't get away with anything. If you did something, you might do something away from home, but it got home before you did.
Really?
Uh huh.
Wow.
And you get there, and if you knew somebody saw you, you try to have your excuse ready when you get there.
All childhood?
No, just relatives, no friends.
So you really, huh?
Yeah, like you got, there's always a bunch of cousins and what's the name? People more like in those days, grown kids would send their kids to live with their grandparents.
Really?
Yeah, because at least the grandparents had food. They might not have any, even if they worked. And that was doing, up until World War II, there was not a whole lot of jobs around.
Oh yeah, 'cause the depression.
Uh-huh.
How did the Cold War affect your community you grew up not you grew up but you lived in after the army?
After the army, it didn't really affect, well, no, it didn't do anything really, the Cold War to affect the community, because we just went on as usual.
Where did you live after the Cold War?
Well, I lived in South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I went to college.
Were there any Russians you ever ran into in America? Any prejudice against them? Well, no, there's none.
The prejudice was prevalent, especially in South Carolina. That was before civil rights.
Yeah. Well, then that's the next part. How did what was it life like for you during the civil rights movement?
Well, I was gone by then.
Oh, were you in the army?
No, I went to Michigan to go.
Okay.
I was planning on going to school, but I had to work, so I was working for the automobile company, and then we'd have a good year and then a bad year. Finally, they petered out, so I went to California, and then I went to work for the post office. And
Really?
I figured I was gonna stay there. I'll find me a good job, cause at that time the post office didn't pay much. It was a steady job, but it didn't pay much. So we finally, first thing I know, I got 10 years in.
You worked 10 years at the post office?
No, I worked 30 years. I worked 30 years at the post office.
Really? 30?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you get a managerial position there eventually, or you just?
No, I tried, but my sponsor died. And now you talk about politics. Oh boy.
The post office?
Oh boy.
Wow. What was so political about them?
Yeah, because every postmaster was a political clone. If the administration changed in Washington, they change all the postmasters.
Wow. I mean, but they don't have much responsibility just to deliver mail, right?
They have nothing to do with the delivering mail, really. That used to crack me up when they tell us the postmaster's coming around, and I would say he doesn't deliver not one letter. So why should I be aware of him? I got a job to do. But the postmaster in Los Angeles one time, they called from Washington, and the secretary said, "Oh, he's on his day off." And the guy from Washington told him, said, he doesn't have a day off.
Wow.
When we call, we expect him to be in his office.
Wow. Alright, what other work did you do? I guess.
I
understand you were in the military, you worked for a aluminum plant, and you were in the post office. What else did you do?
I did all kinds of things. I was a cook. I cleaned septic tanks. Well, you do what you have to do to eat.
What was your favorite job?
Well, I guess I'd say the post office.
Really?
Yeah, because I could work independently. Nobody to bother me.
Not as a team or anything.
And as long as you do what you're supposed to do, you don't get any hassle from the bosses. And they knew that I knew the rules and regulations, and I would do what I'm supposed to do.
Alright, were you ever religious? Do you attend a house of worship? And if so, how did it affect your life?
Lord, I attended so many houses of worship that it ain't even funny. See, on the farm, after all the stuff is planted and everything, while you're waiting for it to grow and harvest, that's all they do. Go to church. Each church in the area has a week of what they call revivals. You go every day. You stay all day. And you learn nothing.
So to say, did you enjoy them, or is it just kind of a waste of time?
Well, for a kid, it's a waste of time. I mean, you absorb some of the stuff that they're saying, but it's not a priority with you. The only thing you're thinking is, how soon can I get out of this place? So you see now, I do what? I migrate from one religion to the next.
Really?
Yeah, you go with the flow. You live with this family, they go to this church, this denomination. I got some relatives in their neighborhood. They have 4 churches of the same denomination.
Oh, wow.
I can't understand why they don't consolidate these 4 churches into one, and everybody have enough church so that they could support a pastor. If you only got 30 members in your church, 45 over here, and over here you got a good little group. There's 100, but you still don't have enough, you know. But that's the way the world works.
Alright. So, what was, I got a few odd end questions now. Who was your favorite president you lived under?
Oh, my favorite president, I don't know. I might have to say Harry Truman.
You like Truman the best?
Yeah, because he was the only one that was really honest. He said whatever he said, he meant that, and you didn't have to look behind the lines. You know, like I get tickled at now when the president makes a speech or something, and the commentators come on to tell us what he said, like we're stupid. You know why? We just listen to it. You don't have to tell me what he said. But that's the way it goes.
That's interesting. How about your favorite food?
Italian food.
Italian food?
Yeah.
Anything specific? Just anything Italian?
All of it.
Have you been to Italy?
No.
No. We both just went, so the Italians have amazing food. Say that for sure.
Yeah, but the Italian food in Italy and Italian food in America
A little bit different.
is 2 different things.